Your Success, the online show for entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, about entrepreneurs. This show spotlights authors who have books which provide information, innovation, and inspiration needed by successful entrepreneurs and business professionals. It includes a special focus on how authors use their book to market and build their brand. Coming to you live from the BizLink Center studios in Duluth, Georgia, let's join host and entrepreneur Anita Paul with today's guest.
Hello everyone, welcome to Book Your Success. Happy New Year, and welcome to our brand new time in the afternoon, in the early morning I guess I should say. I'm Anita Paul, your host as always. I'm the author's midwife with WriteYourLife.net. I'm glad you joined us today on this very first episode of Book Your Success for 2014. I want to let you know that our show today is sponsored by the Intellectual Exchange Group LLC. They offer audio engineering classes for youth and for adults. They have a live internet TV studio, a vintage recording studio, and an audio engineering classes, again, for young people and for adults. And if you're interested in hosting a show and learning some things about audio and video engineering, be sure to give them a call at 404-234-4301 or email them at iegatlanta@gmail.com. So again, welcome to Book Your Success. My pleasure to be here, Anita Paul, and I am in the studio with Peter Saddington. He's awesome. Wait till you hear about this book. He is the co-founder of a successful organizational design consultancy and has been integral in multi-million-dollar business transformation projects with some of the largest Fortune 500 companies you've heard of, including Cisco, T-Mobile, Capital One, Aetna, Centers for Disease Control, and various government agencies as well. He has been a sought-after speaker at many industry events, and he is a certified Scrum trainer. He is the author of the Agile Pocket Guide, a quick start to making your business agile using Scrum and beyond, and he's here at Book Your Success. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad that you were able
to join us.
Happy 2014. Yeah, Happy New Year. It seems like it was forever ago. We're already, into the year.
There's a lot of work to be done.
A lot of work to be done, a lot of projects that are being planned
Absolutely.
and orchestrated as we speak.
Absolutely.
And so your book really comes at this whole project development, project planning process that people go through from a very detailed perspective. Give us an umbrella overview.
It can sound detailed. The whole impetus for my book stems from product development and 15 plus years in product development, service development. And there are a bunch of guys who came together about 2001 in Snowbird, Utah, who came together and said there has to be a better way of developing software and products. And so they came up with this thing called the Agile Manifesto, which is basically 4 core principles. And this philosophy, these 4 core principles, this philosophy is really what sets the trajectory of my book. Greater people interaction, developing software and product services faster, having viable products, minimum viable products, MVPs, and just developing stuff faster in a very collaborative fashion with your consumer or with your clients.
Love it. So this is a system.
It's a framework.
And we love this. Okay, it's a framework.
It's
That's a much better word. You do use that in the book. It's a framework. And we like frameworks because it lets us know what to expect next.
Right. It's just a framework, it's a simple, light framework that establishes, hey, these are ideas that you could take, these are ideas that you could leverage, but you not necessarily have to follow everything.
Right, because there's some flexibility built in.
Right. You have to be contextually sensitive to your particular environment and the team structure. Absolutely.
Exactly. So, one of the items that was totally new to me in this book is this whole idea of Scrum.
Right.
Sorry, never heard of it. So if you have, chime in. What is Scrum? Explain it to us. Explain it to me in Anita speak. And
right. So Scrum is just it's not an acronym. It doesn't mean anything particular. Scrum is leveraged from the game of rugby, which essentially a bunch of people get together in the game and move the ball forward together as a team. And so we know that every service and every product that's developed is developed by a team. And so we want that team to move holistically together, moving that ball forward or that product development forward. And so that's all it means, is that we must work collaboratively, we must work together to move towards the goal.
Okay, so tell us, who are some of the key players in this team?
Great question. So in the Scrum framework, there's 3 particular actors. The Scrum Master, which is like a master facilitator, servant leader of sorts that helps the team succeed. Then there's the product owner, which I consider the product vision driver, or the product driver of sorts, who helps the team understand exactly what they want. And then there's the team themselves. So it's just the product owner, a Scrum Master, and the team.
Okay, so the product owner, or I'm sorry, it's the Scrum Master.
Right.
You talk about servant leadership.
Right.
Talk about that a little bit more. That's an interesting concept. We've heard that term before, but
Right.
tell us what you mean by it.
Servant leadership is, I mean, it can evoke many different ideas, right? From, you're talking about, leaders in the past, from like Jesus to Martin Luther King to Gandhi. I mean, we can go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
Just great people who served or led people through serving first.
Right.
And that is what really highlights the role of a Scrum Master, is that they serve the team. They're there to unblock the blockers that they have, to have the tough conversations with management, to have the tough conversations with other peripheral managers or peripheral team members around the team, so the team can succeed. If I could sum it up in one sentence, I'd say that the Scrum Master is their enabler for the team's success. So the team should be able to trust the Scrum Master to be able to help them when they need it.
And the Scrum Master then really is the one who pulls the team together, identifies the team members.
Right.
How do they know who to look for based on the type of product or
That's
project that's been developed?
That's a great question. So a Scrum Master will often work in tandem with a managing director or someone managing the team of sorts, a resource manager, who say, hey, who do we need to fit this tactical and strategic initiative that this team is working on, or this product that the team is working on? And who do we need to leverage, and who do we need to pull in order to make a really great high-performing team according to the tactical and strategic initiatives of this product?
Right. So this is very personality-driven, I would imagine, too.
Absolutely.
Because
Now you're speaking my heart.
Because it's so interpersonal. It's not, it doesn't work in the cube farm. We talked about that. Everybody's in their cubicle and you just get your work done.
Yeah.
It's not so much for just virtual teams. You've got to come together at some point. How do you deal with the interpersonal stuff?
We know intrinsically and experientially that teams who work together produce product faster. They produce higher quality product.
More creative.
It's really hard to work with a dispersed team all over the world. Now, it's possible, but it's not optimal, right? And so how this works really well when a team is co-located, they're working together, they're highly collaborative, highly communicative, and the resource manager with the Scrum Master and even the product owner and the team can work together to say, who do we really need on this team to succeed? And you talked about personality, Jim. Now you're speaking to my heart. I think at the end of the day, and as an organizational counselor and as a marriage counselor, for me, at the end of the day, I can tell you unequivocally and bluntly of sorts that the vast majority of people in our current workforce are not living to their full potential.
I agree.
All right, and
they're going through the motions, right?
Right. And so we all know, and you don't need HR, human resources studies to tell you that if you put people where they're passionate, where they're motivated, where they're intrinsically incentivized, they do a better job. And so that's what a Scrum Master can do, is say, hey, we need you, Jim, or we need you, Sally, or we need you, Mark. This is how you work, this is how you operate. And I think you'd be great for this position.
So where do the personality tests come in, right? We find all these personality surveys and all of that kind of stuff. Is that valid here, or do we need to just interact with each other?
It is valid. It is valid. As an organizational counselor, we use many different types. We can use anything from a Myers-Briggs to a personanalysis to a DISC, Insight, Strength Finders. I could go on and on. One of our most favorite tools is a tool called Team Science. Team Science is a behavioral instrument specifically built for the context of teams and helping teams understand how they interbehave with each other so they can produce better results.
Okay. So what happens if you've got a team member who's on more than one team?
That's tough. That's tough.
Because, you
should
can't
come to our class. You should come to our class.
You can't always focus on one thing. That's ideal. We'd love to just have one project and that's it. Absolutely.
That is the ideal. I think the costs of multitasking, the costs of context switching, they wreak havoc on the rest of your work.
And you're not talking about dollar costs. You're talking about time, creativity.
Absolutely.
All of that, yeah.
I'll ask you a question here. When are you at your most creative? When you have time to think.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, what time of day? Morning. I'm like, oh.
Right, when you're not
yeah.
bothered, when you have time to
Exactly.
think. And so we want creative people who have time to think and create innovative solutions for our clients, innovative solutions for their products. And when they have to go from one project to another, so far there's a lady, her name is Jessica, and she's in Atlanta. She holds the record for me. She's managing 27 projects right now.
Oh,
And I asked
I'm
her-
sorry, Jessica.
I know. I asked her during a break of one of our classes, and I said, Jessica, how are you doing this? And she's like, truthfully, I can't. I don't even know half the people I'm working with. It's like,
Wow.
how do you expect
That's
to
too
be?
much.
Too much. Too much.
Oh.
She holds the record, though. Jessica, if you're listening, I
Thumbs
hope
up, but
you've changed
get
your
out of
job.
there.
I know.
Tell them no, it's not a 4-letter word. So let's talk about, so the title of the book is The Agile Guide.
Right.
Talk about this concept of agility.
Agile, again, is just a philosophy of sorts. It's a way of thinking about doing product and service development differently. Essentially, I just want to sum it up. Agile is a philosophy that says, hey, we need to work collaboratively, we need to think of innovative ways to deliver sooner, and we need to basically work together and communicate at a deeper level.
Right.
That's essentially it.
And you have a different take on the typical project management meeting. Right, where we sit at the board room and we all, have a whiteboard and whatever, and we just throw up ideas. Let's talk about some of those face-to-face interactions that should happen. You talk about the stand-up meeting and so forth.
Right. All the facets of Agile, or all the facets of the Scrum framework, essentially allow for one particular idea to emerge, and that is alignment. The hardest thing within complex system development or complex product development is the fact that a driver of a product and a team lack an alignment and shared understanding of what that person really wants, right? And so what we find is if I'll just do this example during this interview here. If I'm a product manager and you're a team member, and I say, hey, I want you to build me a sports car. What sports car are you thinking about right now?
Corvette.
Well, that's too bad, because in my mind, I'm thinking about a turbo VW Beetle S. Accordingly, that's a sports car.
Right.
But your perception, your intuition, your heuristics, and your experiences have created a picture of what you believe a sports car to be. Unfortunately, that's not what I want you to be. And so all the ceremonies, all the opportunities in Scrum essentially allow us to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Let me share with you what I'm thinking. Now we can be aligned on what that is, and so you can build the right product for me.
Gotcha.
Right? If I have a team of 15 people, I say, build me a sports car, you have 15 different answers.
At least 15.
At least. And then I can say, well, all of y'all are wrong. This is what I really wanted. But, by the way, I really liked what you said, Joe. I really liked that feature. Sally, those particular ideas that you had, don't like so much, but this...
Right.
Actually, it's a better idea than mine.
Right.
And so
we're doing all of this in the same room. We're tossing out our ideas, what we think the overall picture is.
Absolutely.
And then we're taking bits
and we're
and pieces.
aligning.
That's
the point. So we have a shared understanding. We can leave this room and start building on the right thing. Because we build a lot of waste.
Right. Now, how'd you get the idea to write this book? Why is it?
Great question. Well, in the book, in the very beginning, I was working with a client, and he was essentially my boss of sorts. And he said, Peter, you send out these weekly emails. So I still do this today, and to all our clients, is I send out these weekly emails of what's contextually going on with their company, with their teams. And I say, these are opportunities where we could look at to improve. And he said, you have all these great ideas. Why don't you just write a book? And so
People always say that, right?
I know, they always say that.
Write a book about it.
Just write a book about it.
I love that. But.
Right. And so I said, well, okay. So I tried it. I wrote a first version. It caught the eye of Wiley, John Wiley and Sons, and they said, "This is awesome." They flew me up to New York City, kind of wined me and dined me, and said, "We want to republish your book, and bring it out to a wider audience." And so that's basically how it started. So I have to give credit to my boss years ago, who said, "Hey, you should write a book."
It's always nice to have somebody believe in you and encourage you. You probably have been thinking about writing a book, but you're like, I don't have time.
It takes a lot of time. You know.
Trust me, I know. But it doesn't have to, and you've done a fantastic job.
Thank
Who
you.
is the book written for specifically?
The book is written for any leader within an organization who's looking to help their company move to the next level. For any leader who says, hey, we can do better, and what's a framework that will allow us to succeed, collaborate, maybe even enjoy our work a little bit more.
Imagine that.
I know.
That.
Novel
so you
idea.
do some consulting.
Absolutely.
Who do you work with, and what do you help these companies with?
Right now, at my company, I mostly do business development and training and architecting, and so I'll go through those particular ideas. Business development is pretty simple. It's building relationships with clients and saying, hey, here's how we can help you. Training, as a certified Scrum trainer, I certify project managers, developers, managers, executives in Scrum. And then as an architect, I establish solutions for clients. So I go in usually no longer than 6 weeks, do a huge maturity survey on all their teams. Right now we're working with a company with 93 teams. So I spent almost 3 months with them, giving them a maturity survey to say, here's what the plan is for rolling out agility at your company. And the plan ended up looking like about 3 years. So
3 years, okay. Well,
yeah,
that's good that they're willing to commit the
It takes
time
a lot
and
to do it,
resources. Yeah, absolutely. Wow, amazing. We're going to take a commercial break really
Sure.
quickly. Thanks for joining us. We will be right back.
What happens when soldiers come home? Brene Foundation offers hero support to ensure that our heroes abroad can continue to be heroes at home. We link veterans with organizations who are dedicated to guiding the transition from military hero to civilian hero. If you want to find out how you can support our troops at home, please contact the Brene Foundation or visit Brene.com.
Rachel quit the corporate grind to start her own interior design business. She's got a growing list of clients she keeps in touch with using email marketing from ConstantContact.com. Constant Contact is easy and affordable and lets her send out updates and photos that showcase her expertise and inspire her customers for only $15 a month. Her dream? To be the area's hottest interior design office. Right now, she just dreams of an office.
Hello everyone, I'm Pamela Adams, your favorite Chief Connection Officer, coming to you live from the BizLink Center. I'm actually coming to you live from the set of my newest show called That's My Biz. It's a business internet showcase where I interview companies and nonprofits about their products and services or their special cause. It's a great way to get the word out. Instead of doing that direct sales push, you're actually able to show that you've been interviewed. We have a special introductory offer going on for $99 where we give you the embed code to your video. What that means is you can put your interview directly on your own website. We also give you the link to your video so that you're able to promote it on your social networks so that you can drive that traffic to your website. Third, if you have a YouTube channel, we give you the video file so that you're able to upload the video directly to your own YouTube channel. It's a great way, again, for you to promote your business or your nonprofit. So if you're interested in our introductory offer, please contact us at that'smybiz@bizlinks.tv. Check us out, bizlinks.tv. Until next time, let's connect.
Welcome back to Book Your Success. Again, I'm Anita Paul, the author's midwife with WriteYourLife.net. And we are here in the studio with Peter Saddington. He is the author of the Agile Pocket Guide, a quick start to making your business agile using Scrum and beyond. And I want to say hello to all of you out there in the chat room, including Daniel and the others who are out there hiding. If you have some questions, be sure to shoot those to us. I want to let you know also that the show today is sponsored by Intellectual Exchange Group. If you want to get in touch with them about training for audio and video programs, be sure to give them a call at 404-234-4301. We were talking before the break with Peter about working with companies and teams, hopefully not too many of them. You talked about a company that has 93 different teams. And I'm curious to know, what are some common challenges that some of these teams have in terms of developing new products or even interpersonal stuff?
I think in my experience, the greatest challenge is the challenge that actually it's gonna get really broad for a second. It's actually the challenge that the vast majority of our world struggles with. It's education. I think you can agree that education is one of the most powerful elements in the entire world. If you inject education into a third world country, you dynamically change the trajectory of those children's lives forever. And so the same thing with a large corporation, a large Fortune 500 company, is a lack of education of better ways of building software, better ways of developing products, better ways of developing services. They don't know what they don't know. And so therefore, they'll continue to do that which they believe to be right, even though it's not that optimal.
I was going to ask you, how much do you get the pushback of, well, we've always done it this way, or we've never tried that
Well, in the
before.
South, it's like, well, Peter, that's just the way we done up and done did it. It's like, well,
it ain't working today.
it ain't working. There has to be a better way. So part of my job as an educator is to educate executives and management around, hey, how can we look at different ways, different opportunities of developing stuff better? And once we bring in the education, then what's even better is it's actually cheaper for companies to get trained, because then they end up solving their own problems.
Imagine that.
Right, it's awesome stuff. Education is powerful.
That's
I've spent a lot of time in education, so I believe it's the one of the most powerful elements in the whole world, except for love. Love is the most powerful.
I agree. I'm with you on that. Quick question in the chat room: Is Scrum or Agile new? Are these new concepts? Did you create them?
No,
Where did they come
I
from?
wish I could say I did. The first Agilist that I know of was like Thomas Edison. Right, he continued to fail and fail and fail, and
So no, it's not new.
it's not new, right? Agile, if I can sum it up in this particular context of failing, Agile is a way to fail early to learn better and learn faster. Right?
And we learn from failure, correct? So we should not fear failure.
Let me challenge corporate America for a second. We all know intrinsically that we learn best through our failures, right?
Well,
But
yeah, intrinsically we know that, but we'll never admit that, right?
We never admit it.
Unfortunately, that's a problem.
But we work most of us work in a corporate setting where companies do not allow us to fail. So if we could sum it up, we could say, if you work for a company that doesn't allow you to fail, then it could be said that your company never learns.
That's a good point.
Which is why they're stagnant and they're lethargic.
And I wonder if companies feel that if they allow failure, they are also encouraging failure, which is two different things.
Which is two different things. I think allowing for failure is a natural part of humanity. It's like we're not perfect until we become God.
Right.
Until we become perfect, then we should expect nothing of perfection of other people. People need to be able to make mistakes and have margin for mistakes so that they can learn better. And what Scrum is a framework that allows us to make mistakes faster, smaller mistakes, faster, so we can learn better and make better, more informed decisions as we move forward.
And we can get to the end result quicker
Absolutely.
and get to results.
Absolutely.
You talk about some measurement issues as well, and oftentimes I think in product development we don't think about what are we measuring.
Right.
When should we ask that question?
All the time. We should be always measuring what we are doing against what we wanted to and desire to be. So if we're saying, hey, this is what we're spending and this is what we want to make for quarter 2, quarter 3, then we have to measure against what we're spending, our burn rate, versus what we want in terms of the value that we want to get out of our product. So there's many different ways of measuring, but we should constantly be measuring something.
Right, because we're looking for solutions in
Right.
almost any product development or program development. We're looking for some kind of solution to make
Absolutely.
things easier, faster, slower, whatever it is we want
Or to make money.
Or to make some money. That's always good. Speaking of money, let's talk about the economy. This is not a free thing to interject into a new company. If you come, they hire you, they got to pay you, they need to train their staff. How has the economy impacted the implementation of Scrum and Agile and all of that?
I think the economy, in the downturn, it's actually been very good for these types of ideas, because people are looking for fresh solutions, fresh ideas to the conundrums and the problems that they've been dealing with.
Please don't tell me we have to go through an economic downturn for companies to start to look for new solutions. Naturally.
Unfortunately, I mean, it's a great time for something like this, right? There's a lot of lean concepts, agile concepts that are out there to say, hey, we can develop stuff faster, cheaper, with higher quality, with better alignment as to what you really wanted. Why not look at that?
Right. We get lean in lean times. We get
have
focused.
We have to.
Absolutely. This is a good thing. Another question in the chat room, is Agile for large corporations, small
Absolutely.
corporations? Can a small business execute it? Does it have to be? I mean, we talked about that you work with a lot of Fortune 500.
Right. Large companies are doing it very successfully, but with large organizations, you have a lot of bureaucracy,
Mhm.
you have a lot of politicking, and you have a lot of personalities and management. And so, obviously, within larger organizations, anything's harder. Any type of change process or change framework or change management that you try to do with a large organization is going to be far harder than a medium-sized or a small business.
Right. So who is the highest up, I guess, officer in a corporation who would be involved in this
CEO?
process? Really?
You're talking about the C-level suite? Yeah. So I mostly interface with the C-level suite, your CIOs, your CTOs, your CEOs, and because they need to be behind this change, right? If teams, I think most teams intrinsically get this and want to do this. They want to develop stuff faster. And so they'll hit a glass ceiling when they hit the management threshold. And the management's like, don't know what you're talking about. It sounds good, but since I don't understand what you're talking about, we're not going to do it. It's like, that's not very helpful. So a lot of my job is to educate the executives, the management staff, to say, hey, this is something that's going to benefit you in your career. It's going to benefit the company, and it's going to benefit your product and your customers. Your customers are going to like what you're building faster.
How would it work for a nonprofit?
It works great.
It works great for a nonprofit.
Yeah, we work with a lot of churches.
Especially when you have volunteer staff.
Right. Who are actually highly motivated. Generally, they're more highly motivated. So, right now we're working with a couple ministries, a couple churches, utilizing Agile and Scrum to help them save money and cut costs while still giving the great services in the ministries that they do. So it's great for nonprofits.
Cool.
I especially love working with them because they're usually really great people that work.
And they really have an emotional connection to what they're doing.
Absolutely.
As opposed to probably the corporate oftentimes.
It's different mentality.
I got a few more questions, but I want you to let people know how they can order the book and get in touch with you.
Oh, sure. So you can find the book on Amazon. Just type in Peter Saddington, Saddington. Peter Saddington, I think I'm the only one on Amazon right now with that name. Or if you want to contact me, you can contact me at peter@myai.org, myai.org. That's my email address, so feel free to email me. We're a local company in Atlanta. We're the only Agile and Scrum certification company with a local trainer here. So we love working with and growing Georgia businesses. Georgia's a great place to work.
Why do you say that?
Great people. I travel all over the world. I was in, let's see, this year I'll be in Germany, Switzerland, Italy, the UK, I'll be in Spain, I'll be in the PAC Rim. But Georgia is the best place to live in the world.
That's awesome.
By far.
That's awesome to hear.
By far. I love Atlanta. It's great. Great people, great business, great people. I said that already. But
it's all about the people.
Oh, man.
You're a people person.
Absolutely.
You teach this to groups, I guess?
Yes.
How do we find out about your next classes? And
Great question. You can go to myai.org, so myai.org. You can go there for our training opportunities. This year, we're going to be obviously in Atlanta. We're going to do certified Scrum training, Scrum Master training, certified Scrum Product Owner training. We'll also be in DC, Toronto, Dallas, Houston, Orlando, and a couple other places this year.
You don't have a full schedule yet at all, do you?
It's already booked in 2015, actually.
Oh my gosh! So who should attend these training classes? Who at a company, a nonprofit? I should come. Tell me.
Come.
Because I do some project management with, obviously with the book projects and different things I'm working on. Who's the ideal candidate?
Anyone who's looking to better themselves and better their organization. If a lot of people will come to our classes that actually their management didn't support them, they're coming on their own dime and dollar, and they're saying, hey, how can I do a better job at my work? And so anyone. We love it when managers and executives are there, but anyone who's looking to look at better ways of doing their job, their functional role, it's a great class to come to. It's a great
workshop.
I'm thinking
of nonprofit boards. I just joined a board, and I think that boards would be good for that.
Absolutely. They're a team after all, aren't they?
They should
so
be.
We can look at better ways of innovating for the company that they're over.
Exactly. So what's the next book, Peter?
Oh, man. So I'm currently writing my third book. It's the working title is called The Corporate Dysfunction. which should resonate with almost everyone.
There's
that's out
only
there.
one corporate dysfunction?
No,
I think
the
you need to make
corporate
that plural.
Well, yeah. So the corporate dysfunction, and so what I'm writing about is it's a satire. It's a narrative. It's a satire about all the things that we already know to be wrong with corporate America, and looking at, just like I did in this book, looking at simple ways to overcome those particular issues.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I'll give you a couple examples. One of the titles of one of my chapters is "No one reads your emails." We already know this in large corporate. So there are better ways to communicate, to collaborate, to share your ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Another example is meetings are a waste of time. We know, for people in corporate America, you spend a lot of time in meetings talking about a whole bunch of nothing.
These are all the things we hate. Email
Right.
meetings.
And so
yeah.
it can quickly resonate with all the readers who are in corporate America, say, wow, that's funny. It's sad, but it's funny. So what are some ideas that Peter has around how we can make better use of our time?
Okay.
So yeah.
Is that going to be a Wiley & Sons book also?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
and
you.
when can we expect it out?
Hopefully 2015, quarter
I know, it's
two.
kinda hard to-
It's hard.
to
It's hard
commit.
when it comes to committing, but yeah.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this episode of Book Your Success. Thank you, Peter Saddington,
Thank
for
you.
being here. We hope you pick up the book, The Agile Pocket Guide, a quick start to making your business agile using Scrum and beyond. We thanks for joining Book Your Success, and we look forward to seeing you in the next show. Take care.
Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed again in archives on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. This live broadcast takes place each month on the first and third Tuesday at 7 o'clock p.m. If you are an entrepreneur and would like to appear on the program to discuss your book and share how you utilize it to enhance your business platform, submit an inquiry to Book Your Success at bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at www.bizlinks.tv.